Oh, welcome back to MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things magic. In today's video, we are going to add 20 more creature cards to our Momir Vig Cube, this time with a mana value of 7. What's up, MTG BC? That is the MTG Burgeoning community. Welcome back to another installment of our Momir Vig Cube series. If you are unfamiliar with the goals of this series or just need a refresher, look in the description below for the link to the introduction to Momir Vig. Additionally, you'll find a link to Cube Cobra where you can click and view the entire contents of the cube as it stands right now. All right, we've got 20 creature cards with a mana value of 7, and here we begin with the Clockwork Dragon. It is a dragon. It has 0/0. It has flying, and it comes into play with 6 +1/+1 counters. Whenever it attacks or whenever it blocks, we're going to remove one of those +1/+1 counters from it at the end of combat. We can pay 3 and put a +1/+1 counter on Clockwork Dragon. In a format where combat and evasion are going to be the primary ways to win, Clockwork Dragon has a way in which to get bigger and bigger with the investment of your mana. Creature number 2, mono blue, we've got the Colossal Whale. It is a 5/5 whale with island walk. So if any of your opponents has an island, you're going to turn Colossal Whale sideways towards that opponent, and it's going to walk all over that island for -5 life. And whenever Colossal Whale attacks, we may exile target creature defending player controls until Colossal Whale leaves the battlefield. Guess what, folks? Every creature that we summon from the Momir Vig Cube is a token copy of that creature. And when a token leaves the battlefield, it ceases to exist. So for the purposes of this variant, Colossal Whale really reads, whenever it attacks, we may exile target creature defending player controls. That is all. Colossal Whale could be a colossal win condition. Creature number 3, mono red, we have Crazed Firecat, a 4/4 cat that when it ETBs, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Put a +1/+1 counter on Crazed Firecat for each flip you win. How lucky are you with those coin flips? If it were me, I know I'm getting a 4/4 for 7 mana. Creature number 4, mono white, we have Crowd Favorites. We have a 4/4 soldier. We can pay 3 and a white mana to tap target creature. We can pay 3 and a white mana to give Crowd Favorites +0/+5 until end of turn. This 4/4 for 7 mana could be a lot more powerful than it seems, as long as you've packed those white mana sources in your basic land deck. Next up, another mono blue creature as we hit the 1/4 mark of this video, and that is Cryptic Serpent, a 6/5, and that's all, because with Momir Vig, it's not going to cost any less because it's randomly summoned from the Momir Vig Cube. So for your investment of 7 mana, if you hit the Cryptic Serpent, you're getting a 6/5 vanilla creature. Creature number 6, and one that could absolutely turn the entire game in your favor. Damia, Sage of Stone. It's a 4/4 Gorgon Wizard with Death Touch. We skip our draw step. However, at the beginning of our upkeep, if we have fewer than 7 cards in hand, we draw cards equal to the difference. Each time we summon a creature from the Momir Vig Cube, we must discard a card from our hand. The only cards in our hand will only be lands. Each turn, you can play a land. Each turn, you can summon 1 creature from the Momir Vig Cube, and that's going to cost you 1 of the lands in your hand. Damia comes down and says, guess what? At the beginning of each one of your upkeeps, you're going to have 7 cards in your hand. Damia could absolutely, completely turn the tables in your favor. Creature number 7, another colorless edition. We have Duskdale Gargoyle. It is a 3/3 flyer, and it has indestructible. Outside of trample or any kind of any kind of land walk ability, Duskdale Gargoyle can just stay on the battlefield untapped and block for days. Next up, we have the Dawn Glade Regents, an 8/8 elk that when it ETBs, you become the monarch. And as long as you're the monarch, permanents you control have hexproof. Now, with an entire format that's void of any instant or sorcery spells or planeswalkers, giving our permanents hexproof may not seem like it's a big deal. However, as we've seen so far throughout this Momir Vig Cube series, we do have numerous creatures that can target your creatures. Giving them hexproof turns that option off to all of our opponents. Alright, and getting to creature number 9 as we near the halfway point of this video, we have Defiant Bloodlore, a 4/5 flyer. Whenever we gain life, target opponent loses that much life. And yes, there are numerous lifelink abilities woven throughout the Momir Vig Cube. It'll be up to you to hope the stars aligned that you are able to conjure some of them from the cube. Reaching the halfway point in our second consecutive mono black edition, we have the Delrock, a 6/6 trampler, and that is all. If we weren't playing Momir Vig, we could comment on how we can sacrifice 3 black creatures instead of paying Delrock's mana cost, but we can't, so we won't, because we completely summon the creatures randomly from the cube. Your investment of 7 mana will give you a 6/6 trampler. Another mono black edition as we start off of the second half of this video, we have Demon of Loathing, 7/7 flying trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. Boy, oh boy, this is a powerful, powerful addition to the cube, and if any player is fortunate enough to summon a token copy of this on their side of the battlefield, I can see them winning that game nearly every time. Another colorless edition, we have Diabolic Machine. It is a 4/4 creature that we can pay 3 to regenerate. That is all. Regenerate, it's a real thing, folks. Diabolic Machine can do it for the investment of 3 mana. Alright, creature number 13, we have the Doomgate, a 10/10 trampler. At the beginning of our upkeep, we sacrifice a creature. We gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Now, a 10/10 trampler for 7 mana is way ahead of curve, particularly in a format where everything revolves around combat. As long as we have the ability to sacrifice lesser creatures to gain life, we can continuously send Doomgate into combat, sending our opponent's life total south, while ours just continue to rise. And if needed, we can always sacrifice Doomgate to itself and gain 10 life. We start off with 24 life, so that's not out of the realm of possibility. Our next creature is another multicolored edition. This time, it's Dragon Lord Atarka, an 8/8 flying trample. Oh, man. The creatures in the 7 spot are bringing the power. More importantly, they're bringing the removal as well, because when Dragon Lord Atarka ETBs, we can spread around 5 points of damage amongst target creatures that our opponents control. We could also do that with planeswalkers, but there are no planeswalkers in Momir Vig. So for the purposes of this format, we're going to spread those 5 points of damage around to our opponent's creatures. Creature removal, creature evasion, trample, Dragon Lord Atarka has it all. Next up, as we hit the 3/4 mark of this video, we have a mono red inclusion, and that is Dragon Mage, a 5/5 flyer. There's that lovely evasion. However, this adds a little bit more spice to the battlefield, because if Dragon Mage deals combat damage to a player, each player discards their hand, then draws 7 cards. I don't know how you feel about putting an entire fistful of cards in each opponent's hand, but I don't like it. However, as we've shown time and time again throughout this series, every creature in the Momir Vig Cube is not overly helpful or powerful. Dragon Mage, depending on where you are in the game, could be helpful, could be a detriment. Next up, we have a mono white edition as creature number 16. We have the Duskdale Cavalry, a 4/4 flyer. Whenever another spirit enters the battlefield under our control, we may gain 2 life. Yes, there are quite a number of spirits floating around in the Momir Vig Cube. Whether or not you're fortunate enough to summon any token copies of them, Well, that remains to be seen. If you don't have that luck, perhaps you can pay 3 and a white and create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Just make sure you've got those white mana sources in your basic land deck. Because each time you activate Duskdale Cavalry's ability, and those spirits come into play with the oh-so-valuable evasion of flying, you're going to gain 2 life. Speaking of spirits, let's segue to a multicolored spirit, the Duskdale Reaver, a 3/5 flyer with double strike and lifelink. Whenever we gain life, we draw a card. So just make sure you pay close attention to the dynamics that are presented here by Duskdale Reaver. It has double strike, so it's going to deal damage 2 times. It's going to deal double strike damage in the form of first strike damage and then regular combat damage. So when it hits with first strike damage, you're going to gain 3 life and draw a card. Then when it hits for regular damage, it's going to deal 3 more damage. You're going to gain 3 more life and draw a card. So each time Duskdale Reaver participates in combat, if left without any interaction, you're gaining 6 life and drawing 2 cards. Plus, with the evasion of flying in a format that's dedicated to attacking, Duskdale Reaver could be the creature that really puts on a clinic and makes sure that you are the one saying, I win the game. Creature number 18, we have a mono green edition. It is a Duskdale Worm, 7/7 trample. That's all, just a big old beefy tramply worm. Creature number 19, a mono black edition. We have Dusk Feaster, a 4/4 flyer. That is all. The Delirium ability has no effect in Momir Vig. All right, MTG BC, we're down to our 20th and final creature for this installment of our series. It is another mono black edition. It is another creature with flying. It is one that presents the possibility of creature removal if you are packing your black mana sources in your basic land deck. And that creature is Eater of Hope, a 6/4 flying demon. You can pay a black mana to sacrifice another creature to regenerate Eater of Hope, so it could chump block if needed and still come out on the battlefield. We can also pay 2 and a black and sacrifice 2 other creatures to destroy target creature. Now, let's talk a moment about the numbers here. Usually, 2 creatures for 1 is not that great of an exchange, but that's under normal formats where we can pack in a multitude of removal spells and instants and sorceries. However, in Momir Vig, if your hands are tied and you have a creature on the battlefield that is causing so many problems and trouble, it may be willing to sacrifice 2 of your creatures to destroy that creature. However, as I like to point out in every video of this series, you're only going to be able to do that if you've got the right lands for the job. So make sure your basic land deck has every color necessary. And in this instance, make sure you're packing your swamps. All right, MTG BC, another 20 creature cards loaded into the Momir Vig Cube. I'd like you to take a moment and let me know in the comment section below which creature here is your favorite. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things magic.